Hello there. Welcome to Private Eye Tie. My name is Tyler, and today we have been hired to solve a case. The case of the septic tank. A quick breakdown of how we solve cases here at Private Eye. You are looking for the motive and opportunity, the how and the why. How did they do it? Why did they do it in the first place? When we go over the case file, I will present clues. Now some clues will be pretty clear and they will be somewhere over here on the screen, but some clues will not be very clear. These clues you need to look for. They could be in the thumbnail. They could be in the description. They could be on our Twitter page. So what you need to do is pay close attention. Keep your eyes and ears open. When you are done, comment your answer down below. Now don't worry about someone seeing your answer. No one's going to know if it's right until the solved case file comes out in 2 days. So when you're ready, let's solve. A very happy couple stumbles across a newly built lake house in Florida and purchases it. A little over a year later, their septic tank stops working. Workers quickly begin digging up the earth, only for one of them to scream at the top of their lungs. There is a bound, dead body inside the septic tank. The deceased is a man named Tom Walters, an owner of a construction company who disappeared 2 years ago. As we arrive at the crime scene, we question the residents and find out they have a clean record and no relation to Mr. Walters. We are presented with the original investigation for when he disappeared 2 years ago, and the case was considered cold without a trace of him. It's now our job to work backwards and find out how Tom Walters ended up in a septic tank. We bring in the initial suspects from the first investigation: Becky, Emily, and Isabella. We take a look 2 years ago when Becky and Tom were engaged and building the very lake house in question. They were using the construction company that Becky, Tom, and Emily all worked at. The three were considered inseparable by many, but there was tension forming between Becky and Tom as she accused him of being unfaithful. As Becky recalls the night of Mr. Walters' disappearance, she left their apartment following an argument for approximately 3 hours to do some light shopping before everything closed. Upon her return, Tom's truck was gone, and she received a text from him saying he was staying the night at a hotel. Given the circumstances, it seemed odd, but she wanted to give him some space. She says 3 days went by with no word from Tom, and 7 months later, the police stopped searching for him. Following his disappearance, Emily worked with her to finish the house and sell it to our previously mentioned innocent couple. We make some discoveries about Becky. The ring at her front door has footage of her returning to the apartment without any shopping bags. When going over the ring footage, the driveway is not in the shot, so we do not exactly know who took Tom's truck out that night. There was also a neighbor complaint made that night about a suspicious looking person at the house the night of the disappearance. Emily was originally the project manager of Tom's company, but quickly became the general manager following his disappearance. There are several workers who can confirm Emily was still at work when Mr. Walters disappeared. The employees all spoke very highly of Emily and how she rarely leaves the office until every worker has gone home. Emily expresses concern that Becky was not torn up a few months following Tom's disappearance and was quickly in a relationship. She also sheds light on Isabella, who has a recent history of public indecency and several family members with access to construction equipment. Isabella is a recurring client of the company and has hired them many times. Mr. Walters also filed a restraining order against her a week before his disappearance. She was actively stalking him and claiming he was the father of her child. Miss Isabella says that he was a flirt and had been with many other people while being engaged to Becky. An autopsy of the body determines that the deceased died of suffocation. There was blunt force trauma to the back of his head that happened before his death. This can only mean some very grim news. Our deceased was basically buried alive. With all this information, we must find out, how did Tom Walters end up in a septic tank? We have gone over all available information, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have found everything. Go over the thumbnail and description for possibly more clues and information. When you are done, comment down below your answer. In 2 days, I will congratulate the winning person who successfully answered who did it, their motive, and opportunity. Good luck, PI. Talk soon.